Okay, so today we're talking about leveraging and systematizing your social media. A part of that is I really like just to have a tool where I can have a place to plan my social media posts, just kind of post them out in a calendar so I know, okay, what's going out this day, have a place to write down my ideas. And whether you use a Google Calendar, paper calendar, anything works. I think it just depends on what you want to use. What I like using is Notion, which is just a free online website that you can use. I shared the template with you guys, and that's what this is. And this is just a little bit what it looks like. So up here, I've got my 2025 marketing plan. A little bit about how it works is you just can click in and edit things. So here, I can just type and change this. But I want to go over this first and kind of talk about how I view social media and marketing and how I think it helps me systematize it and save time. So here I've just got what is my marketing plan, trying to do three reels a week, 4 posts a week. I break them out into education, open houses, a day in my life, and then posts to educational, promotional, and a day in my life. Down here, I've got just a calendar for me to view what month it is, where I'm at in the week, and then I've got weekly tasks. So on Monday, I film all of my posts that need filming. Tuesday is my editing day. Anything that needs to be edited or put together, I do on Tuesday. Wednesday, I go out and schedule all my posts. So this is looking at like next week. Thursday, I flesh out content ideas for the next week. And then Friday, I just do a content research day. So looking at this calendar, we are on Thursday. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go and flesh out upcoming posts for the week of the 21st. Monday, I did all my filming for the week of the 14th. Tuesday, I did my editing for the videos and posts. And then on Wednesday, I went and scheduled those posts for next week. Then down here, I've got some content pillars, and this is just my brand. What do I want to focus on posting and give me some ideas or give myself ideas of what am I doing? So one of my content pillars is real estate education. So I'm going to try and make a bunch of my posts about just educating people on real estate, whether it is why you should put down more on a down payment or pay for a rate buy down, or what's a 1031 exchange, things like that. Another one of my pillars is client success stories. So what have my clients done well, whether it was a sharp move they made, they got into an investment home, maybe they secured a hot deal. I want to share that and share client reviews. And then my third pillar is I'm sharing what is stuff you can do outside in Utah. So outdoor recreation, what's my favorite stuff to do, what's the most popular thing near me, and how can people access that, do it, what's coming up for them nearby. And then down here is where I spend most of my time actually creating the ideas for the pieces I'll be posting. So here I've got a content schedule and I've got a couple different views of it. So here I see next week, I've got my Barnes client review post. It's going on Instagram and it's in the editing phase. In 2 weeks, I've got my favorite hike in Davis County post. This one is going to go up on YouTube. It's ready to be filmed. Rate buy down or versus higher down payment. This one's film ready, going to go on Instagram. A Fed rate update, film ready, Instagram. Jones's client lead to close. This one's just an idea that I want to flesh out. But if I decide, I flesh this idea out today and it's not realistic to post here, I can just easily drag it to this day, say I'm going to schedule it for then. So this is just an easy way to say, okay, what posts are going out? I know which days they're going out so I can see it, so I can schedule one for each day. Then I've got these different views, which is what I like about Notion. So here I can jump into just a list of all my posts. So I've got these ones that are film ready. I can see what pillars they're a part of. So my rate buy down and Fed rate update are a part of real estate education. Mountain biking in Snow Basin and my favorite hike in Davis County are outdoor and recreation. And then I've got my client success stories. I've also got this view where I can see which ones are in idea stage, which ones are ready to be filmed, which ones are editing, and then being scheduled, as well as I can see how many posts do I have in each content pillar. So I'm not going too heavily just on one pillar, and I'm actually using all three. So that's why I like Notion, is specifically because of this view where I can just go through the exact same database where I've got all these different posts. I can click on the post and write what I'm going to post about here. So Barnes review from 3071 Quincy Ave, sold June 2nd. Just give me a little bit of more information on that. But it's just easy to see everything here. Then on the side, I'll just link my YouTube account, my Instagram account, so I can jump into those really quickly. Once I have this post done or I'm ready to schedule it, I can go jump over there, schedule it out. If you build out templates for videos, so you have an open house video and you want to follow something really similar, you can build that template out in these side pages as links. And then I also like to put my branding down here. So here I can just jump into my logos. If I come back, I can come down and jump into my colors for my brand. So the colors I like to use are just linked there. And then what fonts do I use? So these are the main fonts I use and what I use them for. And this is kind of my go-to page of, when I'm creating a post, what do I need to be doing? What content pillar does it fall into? When do I need to schedule it for? And it just gives me a timeline. So this is where I like to go and just plan everything. Our next thing I want to talk about is creating a brand. And that is really going to help you know what to post. So one thing that's hard is, what do I post? There's so much stuff out there. Having a brand where you go, this is who I am, will really help you narrow down, this is what I'm posting about each week. So I like to create a brand actually in Gemini. So a part of your Keller Williams G Suite, you all have access to Gemini. So you can just get there by clicking on these 9 dots in the corner, and it's this little star icon. But here we can just prompt it. I'm a real estate agent in Northern Utah. And then we can give it ideas of what do we value. I think that's really important in a brand because we want to make it specific to you. So since we're kind of doing this workshop style, how about all three of you give me one value that you want to add to this brand?
Honesty.
I value honesty,
Reliability.
reliability, and great service. And then we can tell them a little bit about what we want or what our goals are. So I want to post 2 reels a week and 4 pictures on my Instagram page to boost my real estate business. Can you help me create a brand identity? And give me 6 ideas for 3 content pillars that I can regularly post about. And I'd say 6 ideas just because, I don't want him to give me or Gemini to give me 3 ideas and go, that is who I am. I'd rather use it as a thinking partner. So here you've got brand identity, Northern Utah Homes and Heart, captures the essence of your values, speaks not just to the properties you sell, but your genuine care and dedication you bring to each client. Here are our core values. Here's the brand and tone we should take. So, we want to be professional but friendly in our videos when we're coming across on our posts. We want to make complex real estate topics easy to understand. We want to demonstrate deep expertise. And then we want to be supportive and empathetic. So I feel like that fits our values we put in pretty well. gives us some colors that we could use. And again, these are all ideas. You can change this up or, ask it, this is the vibe I'm trying to get. What do you recommend? Also gives us some imagery. And then down here, we've got some content pillar ideas. So idea one, we could do a Northern Utah update, market minute, or sorry, pillar one is local expertise, and then it gives us real ideas. Pillar two is homeownership journey and tips. Pillar three, community and connection. Let's ask for 3 more pillar ideas. Home maintenance and improvement. Real estate myths busted. And your story and behind the scenes. So from here, I would kind of flesh out and ask Gemini some more questions. So, maybe I'm talking about your story and behind the scenes. I say, I like this idea. I just don't want to become someone who is focused solely on me versus my real estate business. What would you recommend I do so I can share my story, but not be solely focused on what I'm doing every day and not selling real estate? So I'll just continue to kind of prod at Gemini on questions you have, kind of your aim, and ask like, why this pillar? Why not this pillar? And that helps me flesh out what I want to do. So once we have our brand, I'll just jump back into Notion. I'll come down here, and these are the same thing as our content blocks or content ideas, where we can jump in, add our pillar. So we can go over to Gemini, and I'll just copy pillar one, local expertise, and some real ideas. And we can throw that into this bucket. So now when I'm coming through, I've got, I want to do a post on real estate education because I can see that one actually has good, but if I was lacking, be like, okay, I need a real estate education post or my local expertise post. I can jump in here. I've got a couple ideas. And not just the ideas that I think are important, but what are you looking for? So we can come up with new ideas, but if we have this content pillar where our followers are going to know, I go to Tony because I'm going to get information on what's going on in Davis County and Weber County. So I know what fun events to go to versus, I don't go to Vincy because she posts random stuff every day. I don't know if I'm getting valuable content or I don't know if I'm just seeing a funny meme she posted. And it's just, and maybe, part of your pillars is funny stuff, but you just want to be that place, that niche where people know to go to you for that certain thing. Okay, so we've talked to Gemini and created our content pillars, talked about our branding. The hard part about this is how do you stick to it? And what I really like for this is Canva. So with Canva coming in and us getting Canva Pro in a couple of months, I would highly recommend getting used to using Canva. You all have Canva set up with your KW accounts for the free version right now. But when we get to that Pro version, it's going to be even more helpful. And what I like about this is what they call brand kits in Canva. So over here on the left side, you've got this brand tab. And when I click into it, I can go on this drop down right here and I want to select brand kits. And from here, I've got 2 different brand kits, but this is just something that you can create and say, this is my brand. So whenever I'm creating a new post, use these colors, use these fonts, use these pictures. So you know that your brand is going to stay consistent versus, going in and posting a red picture for KW. And then all of a sudden you have like a yellow and a purple and you're just super colorful. And if you want your brand to be colorful, that's great. If you want it to stick to a color theme and consistent fonts, I would come in here and create a brand. So here we can click add new and just name our brand. And I'll click create. And then here we can drop in any logos that we want to use. This would be market center logos. If you create your own team or solo agent logos, you can create a color palette of the colors that you want to primarily focus on. You can set fonts. So here I can do my title font. I want to be Poppins and size 64. You can bold it, italicize it. And then you can do that for subheadings, headings, section headers, bodies, quotes, captions. You can add a brand voice. So this is where we take our Gemini voice that it gave us and say, we want to be compassionate. We want to be all this stuff. And the cool thing about having this voice and just filling this completely out is Canva's integrated some AI features where we can create a post and say, does this fit my brand? So just some more things we can add. You can add photos, graphics, icons, charts. I don't know what kind of chart would be a part of your business brand, but we can do that all here. So I'm gonna go back to our brand kits. And then when I'm building out something, so I can go and I'll just create a new post. So I'm gonna do an Instagram post. And then this is where I go, okay, I've got an idea, but how do I want to keep it within my brand? This left side, I can just go right back to the brand. And this is going to have all that brand kit information that I just uploaded. So here in our KW Success one, I've got all of our KW logos. I've got our color palette. I've got these fonts. So I'm going to pull this font in and it's got the same size, font, style for each post. So that way, you can make things look consistent. Here we've got brand voice. So here we say professional but fun. So if I had something more filled out, I can hit generate in brand voice. I want to post about a script battle we had last week. 12 agents competed and showed off their skills. We had a lot of fun. And then it gives me a prompt. And this is something I can put in or something I can reference, whether I'm just putting in pictures, whatever I like. But it's just nice to have this right here versus having to switch to Gemini or ChatGPT to put it in there. Come back here because this has your brand voice right here. So this is going to be sticking to that, whether you put in your empathetic or the whole paragraph Gemini gave us. It's going to write this paragraph based on our brand voice. So here, looking at our logos, I can hit see all. I've just got all the logos that we've uploaded, so I can just easily drag them in. And learning Canva is a whole nother class, but I like this just brand template because it makes everything easy to grab, whether it's your brand voice, logos, pictures you use a lot, like headshots would be a good one, and keeping the same font. Because I think one thing that's hard to use is when you just make them from scratch, you've got default fonts, and then you go, okay, this one looks fun for a fancier font. But then when you do another one, you get a different fancy font, a different strong font, where this will keep your brand all the same. Also, makes it easier because then you don't have to judge or think about which font am I using. Okay, how we're doing so far? Going too quick or looking good? Okay. Is there anything you want to touch on again, Tony?
Oh, good, it's just going fast.
Okay. So I'm going to jump back into Notion and we're going to talk a little bit about leverage. So creating full-time social media content is a lot of work. It can take a lot of time. By, paring down to our pillars and saying, I'm going to post about this. Maybe we just make a goal where I want to post one thing about local expertise, one thing about my client successes, and one thing about outdoor recreation each week. It gives us an easy content calendar to follow where we're posting consistently, which is honestly the biggest thing that you can do to start off your brand. If you're not posting at all, or you post once a month, or all of a sudden you post 5 times in a week and then you're gone for 2 months, it just is sporadic and people you're not gonna show up on people's feed because that's not how the Instagram and YouTube, Facebook algorithms work. But if you're posting, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're gonna show up a lot more. You're gonna be a more reliable source of information. And it'll just be, I think, easier to manage that. So, your goals don't have to be a post every day, but if you pick 3 pillars and do 1 post for each pillar each week, it won't be too bad. Our other thing about leverage is reusing content. So I've had a previous class with creating newsletters and trying to provide value in newsletters. If you can take some of that content from your newsletter and put it into a social media post, it's going to save you a ton of time. So an example might be you're sending out newsletters on the Fed rate, and you just want to say, here's an update on the Fed rate cut, whether it's coming or not. If you're interested in whether you should refinance or not, reach out to me and let's talk about it. You can turn that into a social media post. And, it's not that you're retelling this and people are going, okay, I'm sick of hearing about the Fed rate cut. You've told it everywhere. It's you're getting it to the people that aren't seeing it, as well as telling a consistent story where it's like, okay, Tony's been talking about, why it's really great to invest in Ogden this month. I see it here in his newsletter, and then I saw it on social media. And then all of a sudden he wrote an article about it. So this must be serious. Tony's brought it up 3 times. I've seen it, hopefully once, but the people who follow us a lot, I've seen it all 3 times. I should probably reach out to Tony and talk about this because he's blasting this to his people. I need to look at investing in Ogden. So it's not that, we're telling the story too much and people are getting sick of it. It's just we're reinforcing our brand and the story we want to tell. So that's why we want to try and reuse content as much as we can. It's something that I'm working on within the branch. So the newsletters I send out and the weekly snapshots with all the events coming up, I use that same template to send out to our team leader to send to recruits. So it's telling the same story of here's our events coming up. Not only do we send to our agents, but that's what we use to send to recruits saying, hey, we've got a team meeting. This is what's happening. You're going to leave with XYZ. So as much as you can reuse content, that will help out a lot. And this just doesn't go for, writing, putting down intellectual material, but for videos as well. So I just went to an open house and took a bunch of videos last night, inside the open house, outside the open house. And I did it all the same day. So I can post a reel on social media today about, I'm hosting an open house this week. And then the next day, I'm going to use some of the same videos, but post like a story and say, hey guys, remember to catch me at the open house. Come Sunday at 11 o'clock. So I'm doing, even though I'm posting on different days, I'm doing it all at once in the same place and time. So it's not, it's Thursday. I want to make a reel. Let me drive out to the open house, film it, be done. Friday, I want to go make a story. Let me drive out there, film it, and be done. I want to film all my content for this open house specifically, but if I can, the whole week and future videos at once. So while I was out there, I got videos of a park, I got videos of Weber State, I took videos of the mountains, just so, next time in Ogden, I'm like, oh, perfect. I've got mountain videos and Weber State videos already. I'll just pull that up for my next open house in Ogden. I feel like I am talking fast. Okay.
Yeah, not track.
So that's where I use this task list is for what is called the content batching. Where, on Monday, it's all filming or, making the content pieces. So that's when I'd go out and film open house. If I'm answering questions on, what is a 1031 tax exchange, I'm doing it all the same day and just filming it all back to back to back. One thing I was kind of like concerned about is, is it going to be weird if I'm posting a video and I'm in the same shirt every single video this whole week? And as long as you're scheduling it out, it's not a big problem. I think if you get super heavy into it and you post like 30 posts in a week and you're all in the same shirt, maybe. But really, it's not going to be that big of a deal. People will see it on different days. So, everyone isn't on Instagram on Tuesday. So even if you post Tuesday and they don't see it until Thursday, and you've got two posts then, it's not going to matter that you're in the same shirt to them.
Plus, too, if like all three of those are pillar one, and you're only posting rate buy down versus higher rate, down payment or whatever, on the 14th, you're probably not gonna post another pillar one until the following week, so even though you filmed all three for the week of the 14th, not all three of those are probably gonna come out at the same time.
Exactly. So like if I'm going, on the 14th, I'm filming all my like answering questions. You're exactly right. I can schedule one out to go on the 22nd, on the 29th, on the 8th. So we're just trying to make it easy for ourselves versus going, oh, I've got this idea. Let me go make it right now. Interrupt what I'm doing. It's all about how can you systematize it. I love saying systematize. So you've got your time and place to do it, and it's not sporadic, kind of crazy randomness. The next thing that I really like is actually Scott Leroy Marketing, and that is one of the links I sent you. But they will create open house flyers, social media posts for open houses, all free for free. They do have a paid version where you can pay to have a VA and they'll do much more like personalized telling what you want. But just for, quick social media posts, especially, to advertise listings, this is what I use. So you can just jump on their website. We can hit start. Here you can just say, have you submitted a request before or not? I did yesterday. What's our market center number? It's just 106. And that's how they get our logos. Here I can say it's for myself. Name. And there I'd want to change my name. And then here I can just say most popular designs or all available. And then we can say, okay, I need a postcard, social media post, or a flyer. So for the open house I'm holding, I just did social media post and flyer. And then we've got all these popular posts that come up. So we've got okay, we're on social media posts. We got 6 social media post options. I'm gonna go with this one. And then on popular flyers, I like this one. Then we just put in the property address we're doing. I'm gonna do 3071 Quincy Avenue, Ogden. And then we just put in the listing status. Is it for sale? Are we doing an open house? Just sold? Under contract? I'm gonna say just listed. And then we just throw in our email that we want to send it to. And this is the one that's going to appear on the design. So, if you want it to be sent to a personal email, but you don't want your personal email to be on the flyer, I guess it's kind of too bad. This is the one going to be on your flyer. And then you can put any comments here. So anything that like is required. If you want to say there's specific comments you want showing up, like this has X bed, which they'll likely put if we looked at our design. But if we want to say new roof, for example, we could put it in here. We can review and submit. Here we just got a review of everything, and then we can submit this. I got mine back in an hour. Vinci submitted hers on Friday, and it took until Monday. But as far as business hours went, it was like 6 hours.
Yeah, because it's like 5 p.m.
So it's still pretty quick. So if you don't want to, go through creating a brand, you can use this. You can also use a couple flyers here and create your brand off the flyers if you want to use like the text from there. So the flyers or social media posts match your brand. But this is just an easy way where, most people aren't going to see uh, your brand show up on your flyers versus on social media. And what I mean by that is, of course, we want our flyers to look good and tell who we are. But if it's a little bit different from time to time, we're likely not knocking the same house every time we go door knocking, so people won't notice that the flyer is changing, where they can go back on our social media post and, see if our content is all at least similar. And here's just some more examples of flyers they have. So if we want like this one, they've got some more examples down here. We just scroll through and see which ones we like. Okay, the last part is, how do we schedule this all at once? So looking at Notion, Monday, I went through and filmed all my posts. On Tuesday, I put them all on my drive and started editing them, tried to finish the editing. This is a lot harder with videos, even though videos are the better content to post. You just need to know that it'll take a lot more time, take a lot more effort than like a picture or a graphic that you're posting. They do get more engagement, and I think people like them more. So it's a trade-off. If I would say try and do one video, couple posts, just to save time, but also create the engagement. So this includes video editing and post graphic creation. And then Wednesday, I just go in that morning and I look at my calendar and say, okay, where do I need to schedule it out? I personally like Meta Business Suite, but you can also use Command, and I'll go over the pros and cons of both. So in Meta Business Suite, you can access all the deep analytics. You can post to Facebook profile, your Instagram profile. You can post to any groups you're on. And then you can go and manage the posts really easily from here. So here, this is what the home page looks like for the Meta Business Suite. I can see comments on my recent posts. I can easily go and create the posts and reels. I can go to my ads manager and I can run ads on Facebook and Instagram straight from here. We can also do that through Command, so it's just really a preference thing. I really like the planner just because it gives me a week's view. So I can see last week I posted about the new agents. The oranges are the stories, which is, I think, a really strong case to use Meta Business Suite, where on Command, we can only do posts and videos. We can't post like a story. So if you wanted to schedule a story out for, July 24th, you couldn't do that through Command. You could only do a post. And then if we wanted to create a post, we can click this drop down and say we're creating a post, story, reel, a bulk upload of photos. So here I just do create post. I can choose where do I want it posted. I've got my Facebook, my Instagram, and then groups I'm a part of. So if I want to post it to the groups, I can add it there. Here I can add the photos and videos I made in Canva, Designs, wherever you made them. You just need to download it as a PNG or an MP4 and upload it here. What I also like about this is we can customize posts for Facebook and Instagram. So if you wanted your text on Facebook to be different than your text on Instagram, you could do that as well. We can save it as a draft. We can schedule it out for up to a month. We can also look at active times. So this is saying when are our most common viewers frequently getting on Instagram or Facebook. So here we see a lot of our viewers are on today at 10. They predict tomorrow at 8, tomorrow at 10 a.m., tomorrow at noon, and Thursday at 1 a.m. So that could be something where you go, okay, I'm going to try and post this when most of my active followers are on. We can share it straight to the story, and then we can schedule it. So really the strengths of this are being able to share it straight to the story, editing on Instagram and Facebook differently for the same post, and being able to see times that people are frequently on social media. and we'll discard the changes. And then here we just see posts that are scheduled out would be over here, and then posts for today. So like for this one, I can click on Instagram post, see how many views it's gotten, the reach. So the difference between reach and views is this is individual people, where views they might see the same amount of time or multiple times. Interactions, follower breakdown versus non-follower views, a bunch of stuff like this. I can see comments and respond to comments all from here. You can also pay to boost it. So if you want to run this like kind of an ad, you can pay and boost the post here. What I like about doing it through command is it links to your designs. So if you were doing a flyer in designs versus using Scott Roy Marketing or creating it in Canva, you can just upload it straight from designs. You don't have to worry about downloading it. I also like it because you can actually schedule out for a year, where on MetaSuite you can only do it for a month. So if you had, just holidays that you said, I'm gonna do all my holiday posts, schedule them out right now, this would be, I think, the platform to do it. Because then, if you're gone for a week over the 4th of July, you're not missing scheduling that out.
Do any of them like, I don't know if they're smart enough to do them, but do they do any editing for you? Like if you just like uploaded a couple of like short raw clips or whatever that you wanted to be one, 30-second video, do just Canva or command or then it's just like, are you able to feel upload them like this is what I want? It can kind of piece them all together and make something for you, or is it not like that advanced?
Canva can do that. I don't love it. They're still, I think, working out kinks. So like you'll upload videos and say, this is kind of what I'm looking for, and it'll make it as best as it can, but it's still not like perfect.
So it's still better just to piece.
Well, one thing that you could do is I would upload all the videos into Canva. You'd select them all into like a folder and say, I want to make a video with these 6 videos. Here's what I'm kind of aiming for, and have it create it for you, and then go through and like edit. So you're like, okay, this is the framework Canva thinks I should use. I'll just tweak some things and try and make it look how I want it to look.
Okay, so you could kind of, just set to go and do a little bit.
Yeah. And then like in campaigns for social media and MetaSuite is strictly about like scheduling posts and managing interactions on the posts and like details on views. So like for here, I've got a post scheduled out for tomorrow. I can see the caption I've got on it, where it's scheduled to post. Here I can see how many likes, comments, and shares it gets, and I can see the ones coming up for the next week. I can also see ones pretty easily for drafted posts. But what I like about this is I've got a fuller view of the content. So in Meta Business Suite, I've got to click into it to see, captions, likes, shares, comments. Or here I can see it all in once and which page it's posted to. This will also say if it's on Instagram, just put Instagram right here versus creating 2 separate posts, which Meta Business Suite does. The one thing I really dislike about this is I can't schedule out stories. So if I want to, post a story or do something like that through command, I can't do that. I also like Meta Business Suite just because I get a little bit of a deeper dive where I can go into insights and see, okay, last week I had almost 1,000 views on Facebook and over 1,000 views on Instagram. And I can get much broader and much more specific insights on MetaSuite versus on command, which is just, here's the likes you got, here's the comments and shares you got. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Tony, were you able to access all the links?
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys, or Tony specifically, since you have your computer, you want to discuss about how you could set this up, what you want to do
Yeah,
to
I'm
execute.
trying to set up Notion.
Yeah.
I guess it takes time. You have to set it up before you can really do. But you,
So I'll come over and we'll just spend right now as a